Hi, you guys. Okay. I had written down Hall of Mirrors. And then I was listening to another tarot reader. I think it was MJ at Soulful Revolution, one of my favorite channels. And she used the analogy of a car seizing up. If it has no oil, the engine seizes. You know, without that lubricant, it just locks up, and usually that means you've destroyed your car. I mean, ha ha ha, but you know. So the engine seizing up, Hall of Mirrors. And I thought there was something else. Self-consciousness. I was looking in the mirror. Anyway, self-consciousness. We have Fool card. Right off the edge. And I see this as, you know, great faith. There is a force of love moving through the universe, which holds you tight and will not let you fall. That's Julian of Norwich, who was a maybe 11th century abbess. I believe she was an abbess or a deaconess or something like that. Stepping right off the edge. And it's almost like there's a ladder over here. I don't know if you can see it. Which leads me to believe that in some way her action is a card of Aries, wands, to do with action and direction. Her action to go right off the edge. It makes a path for ascension, something like that. Because whatever this energy does, it doesn't kick over the ladder. You know, that idea that you get up, but you kick over the ladder so nobody else can follow. This is the opposite of that. But it's a card of the individual. It's not like everybody follow me. It could be a little bit, this is a little bit the invitation to do that, I think. But let's see. 7 of Wands. That's a protective energy. Guarded, putting up a barrier. But I like this depiction because she's holding something open. That's what it looks like to me. You know, there's this portal. And the wands are closing in. They're closing in on anybody being able to pass through, but they're also holding it open. Use it, you know, I think that's what it is. It's exerting their strength, their wand's energy. Because somehow, even though this person is doing it for themselves, Fool card, it speaks to the self. Like the ego, the sense of self, even though they're doing it for themselves, they're somehow in that same energy holding a door open. We get this again and again, and I keep thinking, you know, is that our job, to hold the door open for each other? Or is something being held open for us? You know, in our psyche, there's an invitation to enter into some sort of new space. with faith, with confidence, with Aries energy, you know, with faith that there is a force of love moving through the universe. Three of Pentacles, here called materials. It's a card of cooperation, of building something with other people in 3D. So that's interesting because this is sort of on the 3D plane. Let's do it together. This is the deep internal psychic energy, you know, 5D or whatever you'd want to call it. A card of the self. A card of the selves. There's something about this that's like very, that somehow is breaking, you know, this somehow is like a portal to the, it's a space-time continuum. It's like a wormhole almost. It's a way. And this person, somebody's taking a leap. I don't quite get, tell me about Fool. Is it this? 10 of Pentacles. Is that one? Yeah. 10 of Pentacles. Again, that earth energy of Pentacles. This is, I'm seeing almost like the tree of life. I had written down here Jimi Hendrix. I hope you know who he is. If not, Google him and start listening. He has an album called Axis Bold as Love. And I was about 13 or thereabouts when this album came out. And I didn't understand what that meant. And I puzzled over it. It's kind of a koan. But I think it refers to sort of the axis of the world. There's a Latin word for that escapes me. You know, the center point around which we we move through our lives. 3D, 10 of Pentacles. And it's the it's the center point. See, these guys are standing around in a circle around the center point. And Axis bold as love. This is a bold, bold energy. To boldly go, where no one has gone before. And it might be stepping into a new level of cooperation. Yeah, I'm not sure. Tell me about, because there's group energy here and individual energy. On 10 of Materials, 4 of Cups. That's somebody steeped in their emotion, like almost drunk with emotion. And it always takes me, first I see the woman crying in the cup. And then I look at it again and I see the two mirrored figures on either side that, foreground, background, and you can't really see both at the same time. You can toggle back and forth. Between maybe this is the kind of relationship I'm looking for. And then the empty, is it full of tears? Yeah, it looks like it could be full of tears. Foreground, background. I think it's a memory. Of that kind of extraordinary connection. And this is a card of connection. Stable connection. Tens are a completed cycle. Something coming to fruition. And here's the beginning of it's the first card in the Major Arcana, the 0 card. It's like before the beginning, right? This person's right, walking in the process of doing it. The leap of faith. Maybe leaving behind some group that you'd worked with before. Ace of Cups, Ace of Emotions. Again, a card of the eye. It might be some kind of work that prepared, and I'm going to say you because of this Fool card, card of Aries. You don't have to be an Aries, right? You're just embarking on a new journey. There's something that prepared you for this. Some kind of work that you did, 3 of Pentacles, in concert with other people. And it gave you the strength, one's energy to open this portal and then walk right through it. Freeing up your psyche somehow. Card of the group or the family or of legacy. It may be kind of changing, taking a new direction for yourself. And the Fool's journey is a journey toward wholeness, but it involves this kind of willingness to explore who you are. Apart from the group, maybe, apart from the group. To forge your own way, opening that aperture to power and the self and standing up for, meaning of 7 of Wands, 7 of Inspiration, standing up for yourself. And it's a very independent energy, Fool. And there's some regret involved in this. 4 of Cups, 4 of Emotions. You know, a little bit like, what have I done? The 3 of Cups. Here, you can see. And the 4th cup is the one this individual is. Kind of sitting in sadness, sitting in regret or grief or missing a connection like this. I'm not sure they've ever had a connection like that. That sort of 2 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles connection that lasted over time. But there's great renewal here. Like the Fool of Self card, self-love. Maybe that was a missing component. The Fool's search for wholeness must begin with the self and self-love. That's the big cup. And that has to kind of it's a prerequisite for those 2 faces, for the kiss being completed. of materials, Queen of Pentacles on Ten of Pentacles. Well, this is sort of an energy of the mother. Not always, but in this case, I'm seeing it as kind of somebody who was stable and established a home-like environment where people felt safe to be authentic, safe to come together, safe to meet under one roof. It's almost like a matriarchal energy. I mean, I said mother, but the generational, because this is a card of legacy. I have in my family a series of, well, it starts with father, which is interesting, and then it's the mother, the mother, the mother, the mother. I can count back 4 more generations through a matriarchal line, through a lineage. And it looks very positive. But somebody may have been given enough support tangibly by a mother or a grandmother or the grandmothers, the ancestral the divine feminines of every generation. I mean, that's okay. On Ace of Emotions, we have muse of voices. Which I believe is King of Swords. I don't work with this deck very much, but there's some kind of, remember I said Hall of Mirrors? There's a mirror image there of the dancers. And there's the mirror image there in the 2 faces. And swords or voices speak to speech and expression and it's not duplicitous. Also looks to me like a Rorschach test. Which is, in a way, true. I mean, cards like that are open to interpretation. And I noticed, I mean, this is really getting into the minutia for some reason, but one of these images has a shadow. And there's no shadow on the other side. So I think it's sort of like it's something to do with being able to see. Is it on this? Yeah, being able to see both the light and the dark, the self and the shadow. To discern. Because swords are very intelligent energy. To discern what's true. But it involves a degree of stepping back. Stepping back. King of Swords, pretty sure that's what it is. In order to see it, kind of objectively, steps back. Hall of Mirrors, that's, steps back to reflect on something. Something in their reality was almost like prismatic, and that 7 of Inspiration, now that I look at it, really does look like There's something sort of Hall of Mirror-y about this one too. Like entering the Hall of Mirrors. Okay. And that's on Ace of Cups, Ace of Emotions. So the one who, sorry, geez, the one who's used to stepping back and analyzing something in a kind of, not dispassionate, but objective way, is looking at this opportunity for love and maybe wondering, in a kind of analytical way, what have I missed? Is it this kind of connection? They don't see that part at first. They're, you know, they're a little bit, there's something a little bit like poor me about it. Not thinking about the connection so much as about, well, I don't know. What are they thinking about? On Fool, please. King of Swords. Oh, yeah. Three of Swords. They're thinking about hurt. Hurt that lost, that, you know, the pain of losing somebody they loved. And they're remembering them. And they may be, you know, there's an expression, in your cups. You know, drinking too much or overindulging or trying to distract yourself from the hurt. Well, somebody is embarking on a journey of discovery, like to walk right in, take the risk despite the fear of being hurt, but also kind of explore. There's Pema Chodron has a book called When Pain is the Doorway. The doorway. You know, we don't invite it, but it, and then in the background again, there are the crying eyes. So there's a lot of foreground, background, and I'm not sure what that means. But there's movement forward, so I'd say it's like maybe understanding the backstory, King of Swords, but then using it to move forward into the foreground, like backstory, and then let's proceed with the narrative. Oh, it's amazing, all the Wands energy here. On Three of Materials, Six of Wands. Successful forward movement. And, you know, Wands are inspirational. They're creative. They get us going. They fire us up. They're you know, we're drawn in a certain direction intuitively and inspired to, you know, pick a path and go. And something that happened over the, I mean, it could be over the last 3 years, involved rebuilding a self. I'm seeing it now as sort of making a composite. Like maybe there was something in your life, Pentacles energy, that required you to compartmentalize. And now you're moving beyond it. The compartmentalization, you know, I'll deal with these sequentially, or this part of myself, or my life isn't related to the other part. And breaking away from that successfully to find maybe the integrated self, the Fool. And your own strength opened this. I mean, nobody did this for you. So tell me about the Three of Swords, Three of Voices, the betrayal, the heartbreak, the separation. Is it this? It is that. Nine of Materials, Pentacles, a card of the self, the integrated whole self. I mean, Denise, we said something about that right here. You know, there's nothing wrong with compartmentalization, or, you know, that's not quite the right word, but taking different aspects of the self and bringing them together in a cooperative energy, because it helps us live our lives. But there's something beyond that, that maybe now somebody's ready to know about sword energy. And here's the intact self. It's sort of like the integrated psyche, independent of external, you know, influences or distractions or demands. Because Seven of Wands has that blocking aspect. And it might be blocking things that trigger the pain. Somehow your psyche is ready to move forward. And in your 3D life, you may still feel guarded, Seven of Wands, against the possibility of pain. But there is something about like learning it, stepping back and looking at it. I love Nine of Pentacles here, because we have the 9, the 10, and the Queen of Pentacles. I mean, are you an intact self? Many times over. There may have been a King of Swords who is, you know, cold or removed. He may have hurt you. Three of Voices, Three of Swords, and caused you to set up some kind of protective force field to make space you could step through. And there you are, the intact self. I guess I'm really repeating myself. Well, there's something about that here too, with the spiral around the Nine of Pentacles person. Self-sufficient, just a lovely, lovely energy. Tower. I'm seeing it now as the breakthrough, you know, that sense of epiphany. The walls of the constraining identity or something like that. There's a breakthrough. Again, this opening, the breakthrough. Okay, and then you can step through into new life, like reclaiming your life. Maybe after painful, you know, something that hurt, and the memory of it still hurts, but you're blowing through it. Ace of Swords this time. Both cards of knowing the self, accepting the self, being at home in your body, being at home in your life, a true self. After a breakthrough, Tower is, I see a Scorpio energy, you know, some kind of emotional breakthrough. Maybe after a time of disappointment, Four of Emotions that you kind of tried to numb yourself to, or somebody did. On Four of Emotions, Page of Wands, Page of Inspirations. This is the creative self popping out of, you know, out of this depression or numbness or desire for numbness. Like I can't stand what I'm feeling, I'll numb it somehow. But it's almost like your life force, your creative energy just blows through. Tower, Page of Inspiration, and it leads you on a new path. New path, new path, new path. Also in Wands energy, a card of Aries. Okay, on Seven of Wands, we have Eight of Materials. I'm seeing it now as multitasking, almost like that compartmentalizing thing, but it's a very productive way of working with something in 3D. Somebody's very capable. It can be a card of mastery. Like I know how to live my life as an intact Nine of Pentacles person. But I can also manage many things at once, work on different levels, all at once, having mastery of this. You know, no ball drops on my watch, that kind of thing. It's a card of manifestation. Manifesting, it's like working on the self, manifesting the self, and getting a new insight or perspective. After the Tower, maybe? Temperance, a card of healing. And we do have the mirror image here again. And Sun, Moon. Sun, Moon. Temperance is balance. Shadow, light. Moon energy, sun energy. Male, female. This apparently is going on Tower. A card of divine timing, of accepting also the whole self, the blend. You know, we can't sort of say selectively, you know, this is who I am, but all these other traits that I have, oh no, I'm not going to own those. I'm not going to work with those. I'll consign them to shadow. I won't deal. Well, shadow, eventually we bring it to consciousness. This is what we do in life, all our lives long, is try to kind of mine that subconscious energy and work it. It's like, you know, turning something into gold. That's another meaning of temperance. The alchemy. The material is raw emotion. And we're able to somehow, you know, not a temper emotion. I mean, it's not, and I'm getting it too, like when you temper steel, you make it stronger. There's something on the basis of what you've done that opens a doorway. It's to do with a release of somebody. I think it's you, or maybe a release of shadow. So it comes into consciousness. And that's the healing. And I mean, that's, you know, I once went to a film about Jung, and after the film, there was a Jungian therapist in the audience. And we were able to ask them questions. And my question was, I just said, as I understand what you're saying, we get it up and out of the unconscious. Whatever it is we haven't want to look at, or we've repressed, forgotten, or whatever, we bring it back up where we can work with it. And that like frees the flow of the psyche. And he said, you know, bingo. That's how you heal. And, you know, it's always slow progress. I mean, there are moments of epiphany, another meaning of tower, where we know it all at once, but it just feels like this. Tower isn't entirely, it's not a comfortable energy necessarily, because it's so strong. See the lightning bolts going right into this person? It's like electroshock, kind of. But it causes these, you know, reverberating energies out from, it has long-lasting effects, even though it happens suddenly. And it really, maybe counterintuitively, lands somebody in a stable, healing place. And maybe they've had an epiphany. I mean, see how she's kind of, but it's steady as you go. Regaining your footing, landing in your own life. There's a force of love moving through the universe that holds you tight or fast and will not let you fall. And it's expressing right through you, Queen of Pentacles, in your life. I don't know what's going to happen with this King of Swords, Three of Swords, Ace of Swords business. But it's new. Something's getting renewed. King of Swords with the analytical bent is perhaps for the first time feeling self-love. And embracing it. And there's something about this Four of Emotions numbing. It really may be drink. Something drove this person to drink. Or to, you know, whatever that is, to look to the outside thing that to get you away from pain. When pain is the doorway. I don't fully understand this reading. I'd appreciate your feedback. I think it's very positive. 8, 9, 10 of Pentacles. You know, it's growth, it's abundance, it's steady progress. Regaining your footing. Landing on your feet. Will not let you fall. I don't know why I'm picking these up. Can I stop now? Are there 2 more? No, because it's so long. Well, anyways. We have on the board Scorpio in Tower, Sagittarius in Temperance. Temperament? The stable temperament. And that's it in Major Arcana. there's a really important breakthrough moment, revelation, that brings, like an integration of the self and the ability to move forward in 3D in your life. And I mean, I'll say, I think this is you. And somebody who may have been under your wing somehow was made to feel safe enough to feel all their emotions, even the ones that they've been trying to repress. And then there's this tower moment, this burst of emotional energy, an epiphany. Now they know love. They're clear about it. They're inspired by it. They're inspired by you, I do believe. Okay, Sag, Scorpio, and all signs. I don't really read for signs. I read for energies, and I love you guys. I'm at some tantalizing number. I guess it's subscribe. I need like a few more subscribers. We click over to 6,000. Okay, which is just mind-blowing. But and I started the channel 2 years ago, so that it's interesting that there's something. But boy, have we grown in numbers, grown in strength, grown in energy. I love you, and I'll see you next time.